Hello, and welcome to another episode of BergenStages Television, our entertainment magazine here at Bergen Community College. I'm Jim Bumgardner, your host. And today we're taking our spotlight off ourselves and moving it over to one of our newest theater companies, the Bergen Alumni Theater Company. And who better to talk about it than with the producing director, Christine Dunning, and the artistic director, Ray Parente. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Bergen Alumni Theater. What an excellent idea. And it came about a couple years ago. So we'll talk about your concept of doing this, what you want to do with the theater company. But I know both of you have been on the show before, so welcome back, I guess I should say. Welcome back to it. You were just here for Drood. And Grapes of Wrath, I think, was the last time you were here, Ray, both performers here and alums of the college. So just remind our audience how we were so lucky to get Christine Dunning here.
I lived in California for a little bit. I'm originally from New Jersey. And after I went to high school in New Jersey, I came to Bergen for a little bit, and I did some theater. And then I moved to California. And then when I moved back, I needed a sort of home base, like something familiar, someplace to start from. So I came back to Bergen to finish my degree. And I started doing theater again here. And I haven't left.
Good. And Ray, how did we get Ray?
Well, so first I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, but then I didn't end up going back for the second year. And I landed here and kind of become part of the furniture. But
we love part of the furniture.
Yeah.
And you went to high school in the county?
Yes.
Yeah. Where did you go? To high school?
No, actually, I went to high school at Wayne Valley. In
okay.
Passaic County,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. And you did theater there?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Actor or
acting? Yeah.
Cool. What shows did you do there?
First show was Bat Boy. We also did Fame, Wedding Singer, and then there were none. I got to play the villain. That was a lot of fun for that one.
Cool.
Yeah.
So mostly musical theater, but you've entered into
Yeah.
non-musical. And you've, other than doing things here at Bergen, what was your background that got you, hey, I want to go to Bergen and do theater?
I did some theater in high school, but mostly like backstage stuff. I did crew and like set building, but because I played sports in high school, there wasn't really a lot of space for you to do both, like act in a show because it takes so much time.
Right.
But I was always kind of interested in it. So when I came to Bergen and I auditioned for something and I got in, I was like, oh, cool, that's great.
Cool. So I remember you did I Hate Hamlet.
Yes.
Was that before you went to California? And then you went to
Yes,
California?
yeah,
Oh,
I Hate
okay.
Hamlet was back 2000.
Yeah. And then you went, and then you came back. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I was trying to figure out that time warp. And then Brighton Beach Memoirs was your first one with us?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. I remember these things. Cool. And you've done many shows with you. You guys have performed together, and a couple. Just both of you were in Edwin Drood with BergenStages.
Yeah.
With Edwin Drood, you did Much Ado About Nothing together. I'm trying to think of everything you did together.
Rumors.
Rumors, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Rumors together.
Noises off.
Noises Off, yeah. So as a pair, you've done a lot together.
Yeah.
And then you've done a lot of individual shows outside of that as well. That's
Yeah.
so cool. And you continued after here to Montclair.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Still
you finished. You're finishing.
I'm still working on finishing. Yeah.
To get your your BA in theater.
Yes,
studies.
BA, yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Cool. Good. Well, good luck with that. Good.
Thank you. Yeah.
So the reason we brought you here today was to talk about this theater company you guys have created, this Bergen Alumni Theater, which is BAT, B-A-T. And I'm going to assume this kind of came about while working on a show together here. Where did this conversation start? How did you come up with this idea?
So I actually was working crew on a show at Montclair, and I saw that I saw how many students were involved in putting up the show. And they followed the same kind of thing here. They're guided by the professors that are around and stuff like that. But I also started seeing this sort of self-sufficiency that was going on within like their own sort of theater company. And I thought to myself, I was like, well, the people that I've done theater with at Bergen have loved it just as much as the people that I see doing it at Montclair. And they're just as skilled, so why not everybody get that many people, not just that graduating class that's there then,
Cool,
but
yeah.
kind of a mentorship among everybody.
So the conversation happened between the two of you?
Yeah.
With this
Yeah,
idea?
he, I think I remember Ray calling me and being like, oh, I have this idea. And I was like, okay, cool. But I'm very what do we have to do? Let's make a list. Like, who can we get involved? You know, what
true
professors
producing
can we talk
director.
about?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what we needed. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of alumni together that we liked, and we formed a sort of like skeleton board. And
Good. Yeah, I get into the nitty gritty. So just in this concept of doing this, yeah, all the nitty gritties are so important, and I think I want to talk about it. But just coming up with this idea, you didn't need. I think at Montclair you saw mostly there was theater majors doing this.
Yeah.
But here it's more of we have alumni from our shows that never. You know, theater was just kind of their passion, but not their livelihood, and they never wanted to be. But you thought, well, here's an outlet for them as well. People could participate.
yeah, because a lot of people leave and they don't have theater as their main career, but they have such great memories of doing theater at Bergen and they miss it so much. And this is, you know, a great opportunity for them to come back and do little things.
And I'm sorry, Ray, go ahead.
Oh, it was also the TPW class was a big inspiration as well. I remember back,
Theater production workshop,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you've
yeah.
taken that as well. Oh, good. So I guess that gets into now the nitty gritty. So we'll kind of go into that direction. So you want to do a theater?
Yeah.
Why not just do it? What's the?
I mean, you can just do it, but it makes it so much easier to do theater when you have different people taking on different roles. So we had no idea how to start a board or start a theater company or anything like that, except for like what Ray experienced in TPW. I hadn't taken the class yet at that point. But we, you know, use Google, which is a great resource, and there's a lot of great resources out there on how to start for-profit companies, how to start nonprofit companies, how to deal with things like grants, which is a whole big another world.
That's a managing director. Now you got to get the one third person that can take care of just doing grant proposals and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah.
But we found people that were willing to not know how to do this with us, which was great. Just people that are willing to jump in and be like, let's all figure this out together.
Let's put on a show.
And yeah, I think our first production, it was maybe 6 months from when we started to doing our fundraiser, which was the murder mystery. And we learned a lot in that 6 months, and it feels like in between every production we're learning new lessons and new, more efficient ways of doing things. And
Great. So I remember that you came and talked about wanting to do this, and we said, this is a great idea. Any way we can partner with it, you know, any way we can sponsor and help you guys along the way there, because I think, as we know at TPW, renting theater spaces and finding spaces is really, almost cost prohibitive, especially in the beginning, unless you got a sugar daddy that can do all the time. So that was your mission was to do what, I guess, when you set out to do this. I want to do a theater, but you had to have a reason for wanting to do it. And did you create this mission?
yeah, our mission statement, I think, was a lot of what Ray said before, which is having a place for people to come back to, but then also add in that mentorship of current students and having them get to work under people who have graduated Bergen. It's nice to see that theater never ends in your life. So I think it's nice for the students to say, oh, well, I'm going to work with this 40-something-year-old who wants to come back to Bergen and do theater here, and that can be done.
One of the biggest things that I was thinking about as I was putting this together, or that kind of hit my brain, was you know, if you want to find, the best way to find work is to create your own, you know? And so I felt having that, like, Yeah,
and many people do that. They're like going, why am I waiting for somebody to do the show? Why don't I find a way to make it happen? Whether I want to direct it, whether I want to build the set for it, whether I want to act in it, you know, how do I make that happen? And that, as we've talked about in the theater production workshop, is how many theater companies get started and grow from that. So you kind of did that with that. But I love the mission is also not just finding your own works to do, but also incorporating the students here on campus to mentor them along the way, give them opportunities. And so we said summer would be a great time to stick a full-blown production in there, and that seems to work right now, and hopefully we can continue to do more and more. So I remember talking about it, and then we started with the band book week.
Yes.
Because once we had the idea that you wanted to do this, you were pulling together your board. I know Kevin Bergen and Stephen Porter, all these people you kind of pulled together to create this board. And I said, gosh, it would be great. We're going to do this banned book thing. It's a kind of a reader's theater, so there's not a lot of rehearsal involved. It's just a matter of getting up and reading these stories. And so it was great that you guys worked with our students for the very first project together was this banned book project, and I loved that opportunity to work with you and to bring these books alive, and that was like a September.
Yeah, that was right away. That was September. It was like the third week in September.
You
Exactly.
started 2023, right? That's the very first.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was that September of 2023.
Yeah.
And then you wrote your murder mystery. Say, well,
Yes.
we need to do a fundraiser because you've decided to become nonprofit.
Yes.
You decide to go that direction. You can go for-profit or nonprofit. And I know we could spend hours on this TV show talking about the difference between. Why did you choose nonprofit? What was great about that decision?
I think nonprofit really aligned with our mission statement a little bit better, and I think also because. Go ahead. You look like you want to say.
You got this.
No, I feel like there's enough for-profit ingrained in everything that we do. You know what I mean? And I feel like a big problem with it is that it detracts from artistic integrity sometimes. And so chasing something that's making your craft good rather than satisfying a bottom line.
What'll sell.
Yes.
What'll sell. It's like, but we want to do what we're passionate about, not what's going to sell a lot of tickets.
I mean,
for-profit
exactly.
saying, hey, if this ain't make us money,
Then we're not.
why are we
yeah.
doing it?
Yeah.
Let's do Hello Dolly over and over again and skip anything else. But so the choice was this helps, and then it's raising money with that.
Yeah, which it always comes back to money because unfortunately you do need money to put on productions.
Of
but
course, yeah.
Yeah, for our first big thing, big for us was doing our fundraiser, which we didn't have any money to start with. So, I wrote a murder mystery comedy to just help raise money, and we were lucky enough. We did it for 2 nights, and we sold out both nights. And
It was a great idea, and doing that because you wrote it, you had no overhead with copyrights and royalties and licensing agreement with it. It was yours,
Yeah.
Which was a brilliant idea that you didn't have to worry about that coming off your top.
And the culinary department linked up with us, and they did all of the desserts for the night, and it was just it was like really emblematic of like what we wanted to do, which was taking all these different parts of the school and like putting that towards theater and just having it be fun and a nice thing.
Collaborative.
Yeah.
So it was dessert theater murder mystery. I
Right,
think we
yeah.
called it dessert theater murder mystery for 2 nights. You sold tickets really well. I mean, they were like hotcakes, and you probably could have done a couple more.
Yeah, well, we didn't know that.
I know.
Yeah, it was
Let's just
surprising.
try it. It's the first one out. Let's just try
Packed
a couple of
everybody,
nights, which was a great idea.
Yeah.
A smaller venue. We did it up in C211, which is kind of a seats maybe 90 in there, so you knew that that would be a comfortable enough group. And if you only sold half, still feels good, but you sold out.
Yeah, we really packed them in there.
You
It was
totally
great,
packed
yeah.
them in, and it was a fun show.
Yeah.
And I know that I've been getting calls going, when are they going to do another one? So I hope you're writing another one for that. But that gave you funds to be able to do your first main production, which was Midsummer Night's Dream. Right? Yeah. So that was summer of 2024 now. Am I right?
Yes.
No, 2020.
Yes. No.
2023.
2020. Right, so we must have started
September 2022. Yeah, I've got my
And
dates.
then-
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was summer 2023 that you did Midsummer Night's
That's
Dream.
right, yeah,
Yes.
wow.
I know, it flies
gosh.
by so fast.
Yeah.
But again, with the fundraising, and I know on our ticket sites, tickets.bergen.edu, you can also still donate to the Bergen Alumni Theater, so to kind of help funds grow there, because things cost money, which we talked about in Theater Production Workshop.
Yeah.
Even if you're not paying for royalties, and you're still having, there's things to pay for, like
Lumber.
for sets there, props that come up, and
furniture.
Yeah. So I think those are kind of the things that people don't think about. Oh, yeah, I just want to do a show. It's like, but there's all this stuff that needs to be paid for. So coming up with a good fundraiser was really a brilliant idea, guys. And it was fun. It was something that isn't done here. And like you said, it was a great collaboration with some of our students involved in it, and to get the culinary arts to work. And I think, didn't we have waiters waiting on people?
Yeah, we did from the theater club. The students from the theater club served as waiters for us, and they wore little black and white outfits. It was really just so lovely of them to
To be
do
true
that.
actors, you got to be a waiter first
Yeah,
before you can be a
that is
professional
true.
actor. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get into more nitty-gritty about your plans for the future of the company. So come right back. We're talking about Bergen Alumni Theater with Christine and Ray. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Hello.
Hi, I'm from Blue Hood Stone Barns. We brought a meal for you and I'm here to serve it to you.
Okay, great. Come in.
Zucchini carbonara, made from zucchini that was harvested earlier this morning.
Again?
Hey, Dan Barber.
You have room for a little bit more?
Come on
Come on
in.
in.
Brochettes with sausage. So when we made that zucchini carbonara, you know, they're the end pieces of the zucchini, and they're the cores that we cut away, not to mention zucchini flour. Usually those get thrown out. We use them to create an entire second dish. Does that, oh,
Again?
I'm here to bring you your third course. It's the vines from your zucchini.
we'll have a little zucchini stem pasta. A different experience of zucchini. When we start to think differently about our food, we can get a lot more out of it.
This is delicious.
What do you think we can make out of this? 40% of food in America is never eaten. Cook it, store it, share it. Visit savethefood.com.
Why come to Bergen? Our Bergen community spans far and wide. Throughout Bergen County, the state of New Jersey, and, in a very real way, the world. From alumni and local residents looking for ways to become part of our Bergen community, the college offers a variety of opportunities, such as Anna Maria Saccone Theater. Students also choose Bergen because it provides students with a well-rounded educational experience and affordable tuition. No matter where you want to go, Bergen will help you get there.
Hello and welcome back to BergenStages Television. We're here today talking about the Bergen Alumni Theater, or BAT, with the producing director and artistic director, Christine Dunning and Ray Parente. So guys, before the break, we were just kind of talking about the funds that you need to put on a show. And I guess that's a big reality check. And I love that conversation in Theater Production Workshop of planning that out. There's a lot of money involved, yeah, Christine?
Yeah, and yeah. And it's always leaving for some reason. It's always going out how the money gets spent. But one thing I wanted to touch on, which is something that was important to us, I think, when we were making this idea of BAT in the beginning, was that we really wanted to pay people, even if we couldn't pay them a lot. So we couldn't do that in the beginning, I think, with our first show, but starting with our second big show, which was Cartoon last year, and then this one, is we just try and make sure anybody who comes in to work crew, anybody who's operating a board, they leave with something.
Some sort of stipend.
Exactly, a little bit of a
It's not going to
stipend.
be, stop your career.
No, not at all.
But it's really helpful, and I think that's a great thing. I think it just makes people feel, yeah.
Nothing feels better than getting paid to do something that you would have done.
Even if it's just a little bit, it's like getting a tip. You go, oh, thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would have done it anyway, and we know you would, but that's kind of, and so that fundraising helps with that sort of thing too, is to kind of give these people at least, gas money,
Right,
something that's going to
exactly.
go back and forth with. It's not going to, and hopefully that'll continue to grow from there
Yes.
at least. But you do need the funds, and that's why I'm plugging. Go on to tickets.bergen.edu and donate. It's tax deductible, so any donation that they make to the theater company will be very helpful to what's
Yes.
going on there. So Midsummer Night's Dream, Ray directed Midsummer,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Ray
yeah.
directed Midsummer Night's Dream, and then Cartoon you had directed.
Yes.
And you did not do a fundraiser in the middle. You didn't feel a need to because you made funds off of Midsummer's that could get you.
Yes, and I think especially going into Cartoon, we were like, it's a static set. It's a much smaller cast than we had for Midsummer, so we kind of felt pretty good going into it.
Yeah.
With what we had, yeah.
And I think, again, with Midsummer's, it was a brilliant idea because it was Shakespeare, so there were no royalties involved or licensing agreements and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to pay those extra things, where Cartoon suddenly brought you to this different level of where you have to tell the publisher, yeah?
Yes, yeah, and we found out all about that, is the world of where are you performing it, how many nights, what are tickets being charged, and all of that goes into how much you then have to pay the licensing company to do the show.
Yeah.
And then the more contemporary the show, the more expensive it gets,
Yes.
as opposed to something that might be a few years older or not well known. Cartoon was a blast, but I don't think a lot of people
No,
knew
no,
it.
no.
So I don't know what the royalties were, but fortunately, they weren't what if you were going to do something that's just been on Broadway.
It wasn't like whatever Hamilton.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not a musical, so you're not
Exactly.
paying all that
Right.
extra fees to it yet. And then you did the 2025 production of Doubt.
Doubt, yeah.
Parable, which again, taking a John Patrick Shanley show that exists, paying royalties for it, but again with a smaller cast with only 4 in that particular cast. there, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is good. And again, like a really static set, so we don't have to worry about a lot of scenery changes. It's
Yeah.
Yes, and static set just being one set.
Yes.
We had done Harvey that had to flip around and become another set, and but one set you're calling static, you don't have to move anything.
Right.
It's there. Midsummer's had different levels and different areas, but we call that a unit set, so they can become different things there without having to move anything really around too much for it. And same with Doubt, it's just the one location there, it's static. But still, you pay for that. There's lumber involved, there's painting involved, all these props involved, costumes involved, and then designers involved making all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So what do you find is, at this post, the most challenging part of having your own company?
Getting people together.
Cool.
Whether it has to do with like scheduling and stuff like that, but also people have lives and jobs and finding where you can slot in your
Creating the membership. How do you go
Yeah.
about? What's a way to create members?
I mean, we recently had Cody Chester has taken over our sort of Facebook campaign of helping to get the news out there. I think that was our hardest thing was social media and how to use it. And
Yeah.
we didn't really have anybody on our team that was savvy with that. So now that we have Cody, getting in contact with alumni through Facebook and through Instagram, so that they can know what's going on and they can decide to do something about it.
Either
rather than
support
hearing
it,
when it's over.
come see
Yeah.
something, or be a
Exactly.
part of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anything they want to do, you guys have the door wide open. That you're not, holding on to anything just for other stuff. You just come be a part of it. So and so that's a challenge to get the membership going.
Yeah.
When you're so busy doing a show and buying sets and all that kind of stuff, it's like membership. Yeah, we need people. But so anybody's welcome.
Yes.
As long as they've come to Bergen.
Oh, yeah.
So they need an alumni of Bergen, Bergen, but not necessarily a theater program. They could be any walks of
Right.
life
Yes.
to be
Absolutely.
with the program.
Yeah.
And how would they get in touch with you?
Through our social media was probably the best
Through
way.
the Facebook page?
Yeah, through Facebook or Instagram.
Or
There's
Instagram.
direct-
What's the Instagram handle? Do you know?
we are Bergen Alumni Theater.
Bergen Alumni Theater.
Yeah.
Is there a hashtag involved in it?
No,
Bergen Alumni
Just an
Theater.
at.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, great.
it's theater with an RE.
With a-
That's important.
Oh, yes.
The artistic version.
That's right.
The artistic version. Good. So then they could just say, hey, I saw this show and would love to help or be a part of anything that you guys are doing.
Right.
And we'd love to reach out to some of the older alums
Yeah.
who graduated 20, 30, 40 years ago to be a part of this, because you guys have got great roles that they would certainly be a welcome part of. Or designers. We've had a lot of designers come through our doors and go elsewhere that if the whole tech crew, which you started with being a techie, how much it needs. And I think in TPW we've talked about all the jobs that make a theater company happen.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. That list just becomes, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've been kind of running, or when we started, with 4 people doing all 25 of those jobs.
Yeah.
And as we go, it gets spread out a little bit more through more people coming to help, but we definitely always need more.
Always more. Yeah, yeah. And like you said, it depends on what your time is. If you can devote more time, then you'll be a stage manager. If you've only got a little bit of time, you might be an assistant stage manager, just come in for the run of the show or
Right.
something like that. So great. So where do you go from here? What are your plans for the future of BAT? What do you
Continuing to do shows and getting more people involved and really starting to form that real core of people that
get
are
the membership base up?
exactly.
And right now you're doing one a summer. Is there more that you want to do? Are you okay with being here at Bergen doing these things? Is there a thought of,
I mean,
and I'm on the 5-10 year plan.
of course, yeah. We talk about this so frequently.
Yeah.
Where I think it just, for us right now, it's hard to even see a future where we're not involved at Bergen. I mean, that is
Exactly.
kind of our birthplace and the birthplace of this idea and where all of our support has come from. So it's hard in 5-10 years to even fathom not at least being here a little bit.
Yeah, and I think definitely getting back to the like fundraisers and more shows that we used to do, and kind of getting that back on track.
Because we really miss things like the improv show,
Oh,
fundraiser, which I
yeah.
think people are kind of champing at the bit now because Peter Helf, who's a professor here, has such a great improv class, and I think the interest on that is really up. And so like that's one thing we like to be here to help say, you know what, let's do this.
that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Young
not
playwrights,
too much
yeah.
involved because they just bring their talent in and do
Exactly.
it, and it fundraise. And we have so many talented alums
Yeah.
that would love to be a part of. We had that alumni group that created that super happy comedy improv shit. Whatever. No, that's the name of the
Yes.
happy improv troupe.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of fun that I'm sure a couple of those members would love the opportunity
Yeah.
to get involved with you guys as well, and fundraisers. And again, then you don't have that overhead. And I think we talked about more readers theater like, when we did the band book. There's some great shows that just you don't want to doesn't need to be staged. You could
Right.
read them and just get more of the members involved without a longer time commitment.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's time. It sounds like, so membership is where you're going.
Yeah.
And I think musical maybe be in the future.
We would love to, yeah.
It's a lot to
Oh,
take
yeah.
on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's, and it certainly is a crowd pleaser and it brings people in to come see a musical. So that's kind of a fun thing. And do you see doing more than just one a summer? Do you think maybe a couple in a summer? Or is it like,
I think I don't want to speak for both of us, but we would always just whatever opportunity we are given in that theater, we'll be there. Like that's
Yeah, that's
if you throw
it.
a couple of cots into the theater, we'll sleep there and do the set and patch holes and whatever you need.
right.
So
But it'd be nice to have the larger company so you're not doing everything.
Exactly,
So
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a couple of shows going on. You're able to act in one and let the other one kind of run itself. You
Yeah.
just check and make sure no one's tearing apart the furniture.
Yeah, that
but,
would be nice.
Doing all those kind of things there as well. So that's kind of keeping yourself as artistic and producing director, but allowing the company to kind of flourish and grow. And I think there's that opportunity. I think it's fun that we have this theater empty in the summer for the most part, except maintenance that you on the tech team, normally maintain the theater to make sure it's
Yeah.
in shape for our next season here. But if it's sitting there, why not put on a show? And especially that's going to get our students that aren't doing anything in the summer an opportunity to
Right.
do a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And I think you've done that for every show. So you've given an opportunity to our students, whether it's crew on stage or backstage there as well. And is there any thoughts of shows that you want to do coming up?
oh my goodness.
Well, you mentioned musicals. One big one that we wanted that we want to put up is Bat Boy.
Bat Boy, great.
Another one of those kind of.
And you're familiar with
yeah.
it, so you know what you're getting yourself into with
Yeah.
Bat Boy. Good. And yeah. So good. That's a big musical, and that's a great challenge. I think that'd be fun. I think it'll bring the audience in there.
Yeah.
So our call right now then is to support the theater
Yeah.
as member or financially, but either way, this is a growing group. So if anybody's an alum, is there a pitch for that, producer?
A pitch. Yeah, I mean, we need bodies and we also need ideas and passion. And there's so many opportunities to do theater when you're at Bergen, and when you leave, those opportunities dry up if you're not directly working in the theater world. So we're here to say, we have all of those opportunities for you. Please come because we want you. And the same way you love theater, we love theater.
Cool. Good. Great pitch. You did it, producer. You did a great pitch there. And so the door is always open. And again,
Yeah.
a lot of our alums go off and they work in other professions, but they have this passion. And so
Yeah.
you're kind of like a community theater, but you're ours. You're our alumni community group there. But I think that's an inspiring pitch there. And so break a leg with all your seasons coming up
Thank
there,
you.
guys. Thank you for being so much a part of the show. Thank you for bringing theater back to Bergen during the summer months and giving opportunities to our current students and our former students who would just love to do what they need to do. So break a leg.
Thank
Christine
you.
Dunning, our producing director, Ray Parente, our artistic director for Bergen Alumni Theater, BAT. So thanks for coming to the show, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time at BergenStages.